It's me, Daddy Dragon, otherwise known as Graham Moore. Jock the Lad, good evening, DD and everyone. Ray Woods, hello world. Steve Lomax, how you doing, son? Steve, I need to send you the order so we can organise our dates, etc. I've been sent both things today just to make sure everyone's aware of this, right? The trial date has now been set for the 3rd, 4th and 5th of November. What is the 5th of November? To anyone that not burning down Parliament, but it could be, right? The 5th of November is the day that King Billy landed in 1688, right? If you ever want to see a speech from the Prince of Orange in an election petition to protect freedom of elections, you're going to get it at the submission stage of that trial, right? And we're not interested in any other bullshit other than protecting England. I know that I am a couple of minutes early. I've just escaped the pub. They tried to handcuff me to the bar. Honestly, they was trying to force Guinnesses down my throat, and I was saying, "Listen, we can't have it. Right? I've got to go and do a show. It's Friday night. I haven't done lives all night, all week, because of this case. But just to let you all know, if you don't already know, we listen. This ain't about I or me. It's we as a team, right? There's all people who help me. Steve Lomax is in the chat tonight, who kindly sits next to me, passes me the paper, like paperwork, goes through it, looks at this, right? And people don't realise, right? I need assistance from a team, and you are the team, and I'm not allowed to fucking talk to anyone until we triggered it at 10:30 yesterday, and the court agreed. That's why they put out the court order today, right? They said Mr. Moore needs to be able to discuss this with his team, who are not respondents to this, right? So they've even done us another favour. But I just want to make sure everyone's there, and then I'm gonna absolutely. You listen, right? You're going to get a rant. I can feel it. I can feel this rant coming on, right? I've been talking to a few different people. One of the conversations I'll keep to myself with someone else. But, again, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to send this out. What I am going to do is send it out myself because I haven't sent it out. The full English show. Let me make sure I can spell this. I can't even spell tonight. Look, the full English show. And if anyone wants to make a donation of full English breakfast, right? Because I found a gap just up the road. Does full English breakfast, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I can't do that every day. I can't afford it, right? It's a bit more than a pint. It's £8.50. But I had one this morning. It was fucking lovely, and you get free coffee as well. So I load up with me coffee, load up with me full English, and then walk back and do what I've got to do. The full English show. The fight is on. I wish I could play some of the bits and pieces that people have sent me. And I'm going to put this on there. And I want everyone to send it out, right? Because I will never stop fighting for the English, right? There it is. So we have got a trial date set, right? And everyone needs to understand, I do not represent myself. Even though I'm a litigant in person, I represent the people. I am not associated with the British government, with the British Bar Association as a barrister. I am not. I have not given any assertions towards solicitors. I think they're all as bad as each other, and they certainly have been misinstructed on the law. I believe that self-educated people, whether you be, in other words, real working class people, that get interested in the subject and can study it for so long that they become an expert in that and understand, right? So I don't want anyone. I wasn't taught by a Marxist communist university. Everyone's seen that new student leader in Oxford Union. Disgusting. In effect, celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, right? Bill Clinton went to that university, was known as a communist, and went to South Africa when he left there. And half of the problems you're seeing in South Africa are because of them people. So I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. Don't forget, on the 28th of September, I will be doing a seminar in Essex on the English Constitution and explaining to you why you are English, not British, right? I will explain to you that all the laws that are your written constitution, which you're told you haven't got a written constitution, you have. I will be explaining that to everyone. So, and again, these seminars are really important because they're educational. They're not political, right? I don't stand up there and say, vote for me, right? I'll stand up there and say, listen, it is us that should be carrying the eternal flame of freedom that our ancestors passed to us, and we pass it on to the next generation. Your English rights, not the British rules, your English rights, they are your birthright. And it is the inheritance of your children to be free. That is what you're passing on to the next generation. So there's a few things I was going to be talking about. So we've gone, I think, 1 minute past 8 in a moment. Give me a time check, everyone, because everyone should be steaming into this show. If not, listen, make sure you send this out because, oh, by the way, I'm on LSB Studios at 9 o'clock. They sent me the link. I'm going to go live with LSB Studios and we're going to be discussing this. LSB Studios is one of the people that supported the petition, supported our election in Runcorn and Helsby, and they're proper people, right? You've got Mark, you've got Chris, you've got Bob, you've got all of them people. And by the way, someone I met once there, Zach, who's absolutely had liberties taken with him, right? He's a really nice fellow. All of these people are genuine people, right? Sarah from Epping, never met her. Listen, don't start, right? All I'm saying to everyone listening to this, we've got to crack on. Someone's just given me a time check. It's 22 minutes past 8, right? So I can tell everyone today. What the High Court did yesterday was they accepted that we're pushing this judgment out, right? So they put the judgment out at 10:30 and they delayed the order and they delayed telling people when the election was going to be till today. They needed to get the judgment out yesterday, right? Because they understood that I couldn't talk to anyone, right? And I thought that was fantastic. They've been very fair by doing that. Even if we lose, there's some other bits and pieces, by the way. There is another hearing in between where I've got to go and argue our case to say, listen, this is in the public interest. And effectively, it's not my fault if people start challenging things. All they had to do was write one line. If they believed that the statute says that they shouldn't be respondents, then all they had to do was write that one line. That's it. Don't take a genius to work it out. That's all you got to argue. It is my opinion that the High Court would have agreed with them, right? So there's none of this not writing out, and they've got disbursements coming to £20,000. They're sending to my old home address service agents, in-person service, banging on my door, trying to intimidate me, right? And I'm like, I'm not having any of this. All you had to do, right, was email me. Because the court has said we'll all accept an email in this case, yes? Right, Mr. Moore's going to be on a yacht in Portugal. The Freedom Vessel, Boreal, right? Actually, it is called SV, Sailing Vessel Boreal. right? Where Captain Tim has sailed all around the world under his common law right not to have he don't need a passport. So I'm just making sure everyone's aware of what we're doing. Hopefully, don't forget hitting the like button, sharing this information, because the mainstream media, let me just say this to you, right? Mainstream media was all over, right? Negatively promoting Nigel Farage and Sarah Passion, right? MP, right? That possibly isn't an MP, right? She may be, she may not be, right? But people need to know what the public opinion was, right? That's what this is all about. And then you've got another person. Her name is June Slater. Anyone heard of June Slater? I want everyone to understand this, right? June Slater is telling everyone he only got 50 votes, blah, 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 right? Sore loser, etc., right? No one's interested in England and English sovereignty. That's what she's telling everyone on Facebook, right? She's not discussing the oppression and suppression of the English. And just to make sure I'm clear on this, June Slater has got a gaff in Switzerland. She can fuck off anytime she wants. We can't. We're working class and we're standing up for our rights to a free election, right? And people like June Slater need to understand that. You have betrayed England, right? The UK, listen, June, listen to what I'm saying to you. The UK is a unitary state. It is not a country. The country is England. The country is Scotland. And the country is Northern Ireland. And when you understand that you are betraying our ancestors, you disgust me and people like you that are sucked on the teat of a unitary state to destroy the working class in this country. You are as bad as Labour. You're as bad as the Lib Dems. You are the Fabians, right? June Slater, fuck off to Switzerland and leave us alone. But don't you ever come back to my England. Because when we take this country back, working class people, let me tell you something, people like you ain't welcome. We will build this country and people will obey English law and they will obey the English constitution. People like June Slater, right? All like that, right? All they want to do, Farage. Farage is the enemy. He is the Benedict Arnold of this country. And when I speak of this country, I speak of England. That's who Farage is. Richard Tice, you remember the guy? Said sack the people that wouldn't take the jab. You know all them people that are out there as carers? You know, people on minimum wage that are actually caring for people in our society, in our communities. You don't take the job, you shouldn't have the job. Richard Tice is a fucking wrong one, right? So is the Mohammedan that they're trying to protect. So all I'm doing is telling people straight. We have now got, and let me just make sure I'm clear on this. I want to be very clear on what I'm saying. Sarah Palin tried to get this petition thrown out. She did not care that she had got there via a corrupt election, right? The judges, in their judgment, referred to the emails that I had sent over a week before the election date, telling the police, the Royal Mail, and the returning officer that this was election interference and I was complaining of election interference. Both judges accepted that I had brought this to their attention well before the election date. Therefore, this is nothing to do with being a sore loser. This is about election fraud, right? It's as simple as that. And how can you have 50 votes? 10 years ago in a different constituency, get exactly 50 votes. And by the way, they clipped the votes at 50. Almost like someone said, just give him 50 votes. It is a predetermined decision who wins the election. That's what I'm standing up against. That's what you're standing up against. And when this goes to court, right? And I'm going to show everyone on the screen exactly what I'm talking about, right? I need everyone to be punting this out. We need an army of people, nice people, right? You know what I'm saying? There is no aggression. There is no shaking your heads. And you know the lady I'm talking about. She's absolutely lovely. I wouldn't mind shaking her head somewhere else, but I ain't going to go into any detail on that one, right? But let me just make sure everyone's got this, right? Let me bring this information up on my screen. I'm not sure if I can actually bring that up on there. Yes, I can. Right, I'm going to try and show you this on the screen, right? WhatsApp. There it is on the trial date. Are you all seeing that on your screen? Hopefully you can. I might bring it up a bit higher. So there it is, right? P38125. In the High Court of Justice, King's Bench Division, in the matter of the representation of the People's Act 1983 and in the matter of the parliamentary by-election for the Runcorn and Helsby constituency held on the 1st of May 2025 between Graham Harry Moore and Sarah Joanne Poshin, MP, and 2 Stephen Young, returning officer. Respondents. Take notice that the trial of the above-mentioned petition will take place at Chester Crown Court, the Castle, Chester, CH1 2AN, between the 3rd and 5th of November 2025. The hearing on all days will commence at not before 10:30 a.m. The hearing details will be published on the King's Bench Daily Calls list on the afternoon prior to the hearing. And then it goes on to say, so ordered, 12th of September 2025. Come out today. You're the first people to see this on a live show, etc. And I've just put that out there. So do you understand, right? You as the people have won an election petition to have your voice heard in front of 2 judges, not by a solicitor that won't say certain things. Oh, I can't say that. I can't say, oh, I might lose. Oh, they know. They'll strike me out. I'll end up being on charges, right? Or barristers say, oh, I can't say that. I can't say this, right? You've got a normal, everyday working man, right, standing up for you in that court. We are working class, right? And we are the ones being shafted by this political corrupt system. I want people to understand what is going on. June Slater again, listen to what I'm saying. The underpinning of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of assembly, freedom to protest, all of the freedoms of the English were put in place by one particular type of freedom. And do you know what that was? Freedom of election, purity of election. From the first Statute of Westminster, from the first Statute of Westminster in 1275, Chapter 5, it stated there should be no corruption of an election. They should be free elections. And anyone that goes against that, there should be severe consequences. I'm not seeing that from the High Court at the moment, right? There is a decision that we've got to make over the next 48 hours, whether we appeal. And by the way, the judges have given me special permission to appeal on a point of law, right? Where I can put this point of law to them to say, we need these other people put in. And they've said that the appeal will not interfere with the actual petition itself, with the petition crown. So you've got to get that. So the people under pressure are the 4 respondents, not me, right? And they're all acting to strike this out. I had a phone call from a solicitor. I'm not saying who it was today. And that solicitor said, you should be very, very proud of yourself and the people who have supported you. To go against 2 King's Counsels, 2 barristers, and a very capable group of solicitors and win your argument for an election petition, you have done magnificently. And I said, it wasn't just me, it was a team. And there's no I in team. This was you that pushed this forward. Now, we need as many people to pack that gallery out for 3 days, right? We need to be in the biggest court in that courtroom. We need everyone from Runcorn and Helsby to come in there to know that this was a crooked election. What we do know is that 2 senior members of the Royal Mail have been suspended, right? It's not being discussed by the mainstream media and the broadcasters because they interfered with an election. Just to make sure you are aware of this. And I want everyone to understand what I'm saying. If you interfere with the Royal Mail and don't deliver normal mail, and you deliberately didn't put that mail through there that you paid for, right? That's a 2-year prison sentence maximum. If you conceal the fact that the crime has been committed, that's called perverting the course of justice. The perverting the course of justice carries an all-life prison term, maximum, right? It is far worse to cover up the crime than not to admit to committing the crime in the first place. The extra part of this is that Royal Mail have not declared that to the court, have not told the court there is a material fact, and the material fact is that the Royal Mail have found the leaflets in their distribution office. No one has declared to us, yeah, there was skullduggery, right? Who are the people that run the unions? Did the Royal Mail in 2019, right? And I've never said this on the show, but I intend to say it in court. In 2019, in an appeal where we take it forward, in 2019, the Royal Mail took the Communication Workers Union to the High Court. And the reason they did was because they said they was going to strike during an election. And part of the application for the injunction against their strike, which was approved and issued by the High Court in England, was because they had said, the Royal Mail, they would be interfering with an election if they didn't bring the injunction. So the same people who are in control of the Royal Mail and the workers of the Royal Mail, right, and didn't deliver our leaflets. Our leaflets had vital information on page 2 with reference to the rape of English girls all over England. Criminal Justice Act 1998, section 134, torture. And it spells out what the conditions for that offence are. And at section 6, it tells you anyone found guilty on indictment of this offence is only an indictable offence. It cannot be heard in any other court other than the Old Bailey or Crown Court. The only offence, in other words, there is no... The judge has no discretion. It's a mandatory life sentence if found guilty, right? And that includes if they acquiesced, if they omitted anything from their career or any reports or anything that they found a bit of info. Ooh, we dropped that bit out, right? That's called omission. They didn't want to declare it, right? And then you've got other people that acted or consented. Imagine you've got a group of people, let's say Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, right? Or many others, very senior in a Labour government, that actually said to the police, do not investigate these crimes. Those young girls of 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, one of them raped with a baseball bat with her fucking tongue nailed to a table, right? No. They're just slags. Let me tell everyone here, right, listening to this. Statutory rape is having sex with anyone under the age of 16. That's statutory rape. And when the state acquiesces to that, consents to that, acts towards it, some of the police officers rape these girls, right? Or consented to this happening. You have got a case of torture. None of these people. June Slater, right? Yeah, June Slater got a gaff in Switzerland. Listen, June, What do you think? I'm some jealous working class geezer that can't earn a living. I've had more fucking money than you and shit it out of my arse, right? I don't care about money. I care about justice. Only justice, right? If I die a pauper, but bring justice to the people, I'll be fucking happy. And if I end up dying in a fucking van somewhere, right, because I'm homeless, at least I can go to the other side knowing I've tried my best to give the people justice, right? Unlike these other people. You have all got a simple thing, right, from the English, and that is the Acts of Settlement of 1700-1701. At chapter 4, it states, the laws of England are your birthright. And that is what they're trying to destroy. Why are they trying to destroy it, June Slater? Why are they trying to destroy it? Why are you escaping to a place called Switzerland that's not in the European Union? Tell me that. Yet the European Union needs to destroy England via regionalisation. Why does it do that? Because the UK is a unitary state, not a country. England is a country. In order for the European Union to become a country, right, it needs one thing. It needs to take out the common law jurisdiction and replace it with administrative law. To do that, you need administrative areas, regions of England. They become administrative regions. And once they become administrative regions, the same as Scotland, the same as Northern Ireland, the same as Wales, the European Union then becomes a country. It produces its own constitution that overrides all of your rights. And you have given up England. June Slater gave up England. She is aiding and abetting treason against England because she looks at the unitary state of the UK as a country. It is not a country. That's basically what's going on. If you look at America, the same plan was put in place, right? And it started in 1860. The British were the ones, the Unionist British were the ones who pushed against the southern states. They bought, the United States of America purchased Louisiana, right, from the French. Louisiana is Roman law jurisdiction. It's like a cancer, right? And the reason why the United States, independent states of America, is not a country, it's recognized a country externally, but it's not known as a country, is because one of the states is Roman law jurisdiction, Louisiana. And what they did to try and destroy America, which, by the way, Trump knows, right, is they tried to bring in FEMA regions, and they put a big fanny out there, a big lie. FEMA regions, all these people, their dead bodies, look at the coffins, look at this. That's what they was lying. They was lying to you. It's the same blueprint as England. How do you destroy a common law jurisdiction? Divide it up. And then what happens is they get all these unitary state people, unionists, right, to stay stronger together. If it really is stronger together, why are you regionalising England? Tell me what it is. I'm just a normal, everyday working geezer, right? How deep was this plot against America and against England? Let me tell you something now. I'll tell you how deep it was. In order to implement the regionalisation of the United States into 10 regions, someone had to fly a load of planes into the Twin Towers. And suddenly there was a Patriot Act already written, bumped straight into position. The Patriot Act created the Department of Homeland Security, which then created the FEMA regions, that then created the destruction of the United States of America, because the states would no longer exist. They would be administrative regions. And they wanted a greater area, so they brought in Canada and they brought in Mexico, completely alien people to America. That's basically what's gone on. I'm telling you in a nutshell what their plan has always been, how to see it, how to operate, and how to take your country back. Right? That's what they've done. Any questions on that? So don't forget our trial. So to understand what I'm telling you, the initial position of what's going on, this is what they need to do. They have to have crooked elections. So they get crooked, it goes against the fundamental principle. It's an undoubted right to freedom of election, right? This is an English right, goes all the way back to 1275, first statute of Westminster, 1275 and beyond, right? Goes right the way back to Anglo-Saxon times. That position was then corrupted. And they start playing games in the background. So all of a sudden you get criminals running campaigns, political campaigns, and the mainstream media pushing that forward. That's what happens, right? Once they've got their crooked politician, who is a crook, that then everyone refers to as, oh, the Honourable Mr. So-and-so, and the Right Honourable, because he's a Privy Councillor, right? Go and read the Bill of Rights. It's the same thing. Declaration of Rights, Declaration of Reasons, right? Read the trilogy. That's why Devon is so important, right, to England, because what come from that was the complete rescue of England, the deceit of a king in 1670, right, that created, right, the treaty with the French, the Treaty of Dover. To create a Roman Catholic country, right? And just remember, Charlie Kirk was murdered, and one of the things he said was that the founders of the United States of America talked about the Protestant religion, right? What did the English Bill of Rights do? Protect the Protestant religion. What did the Declaration of Rights and what did the Declaration of Reasons do? Protected the Protestant religion. What did the Act of Settlement do of 1701? It protected the Protestant religion. What did the actual Acts of Union do? Protected it literally protected the Protestant religion and Presbyterian religion, right? Now we are under attack as a nation from all of these communists all over the place, which is Roman in nature, right? People need to understand what's going on. Getting back to what they've done. You get a crooked politician, you get a crooked campaign, they all do all these little things, they're given immunity, right? Because they've wangled that into statute. And then the judges turn around and say, oh, it's not in statute, right? They pretend that the common law has got nothing. We're not a common law jurisdiction. They never, ever told you that they was converting this country into administrative law, right? They lied to you. What I'm trying to tell you now is once you put them crooked MPs in place, the crooked MPs then create laws. Some people refer to it as constitutional vandalism. Constitutional vandalism actually means constitutional subversion. Constitutional subversion is another word for treason, right? It's a hanging offence. And then what they do is they put them MPs in place. What do the MPs do? They then create laws to subvert the Constitution. And there's no checks on it because they put all the people in place, the Fabian Society are all in place to say, no, we'll let it go through, right? But once they created a particular law, which was the Constitution Reform Act of 2005, and there's 20 others, right, that come before it, what they actually did using that was the crooked MPs, the right honourables, the people that you think are really honourable, but they're really fucking criminals, right? They then subverted the Constitution and they removed the Lord Chancellor from giving a tap on the shoulder to the best of the best through merit of judges that understood the English Constitution and the common law, right? By doing that, They removed them, and then the politicians were the ones who picked the judges. You remember the crooks that have been put in place by the crooked elections, because there is no such thing as a freedom of election anymore, right? So the crooked MPs then create laws that subvert the constitution. They then pick the judges, and the judges won't go against their crook paymasters. And that's how we ended up in the fucking mess that we're in now. There's some good judges out there that know what's going on, but there's no one brave enough in the legal profession to actually put this forward, right? Except people like me, a normal working class person, self-educated, right? That can see exactly what they've done, what their strategy is, and the same blueprint has been used on the United Independent States of America. The best thing the United States of America can do was to shut down the North American Free Trade Agreement. Guess what? Trump done exactly that. That was a mirror of the unitary state of the United Kingdom, the British system. He shut it down. He said, we're not interested in Canada. We're not interested in Mexico, right? And next, he will take down and strip out the Patriot Act and the Department of Homeland Security, right? And when he does that, everyone's going to start to realize, and then he's going to point at Louisiana, and he's going to say to Louisiana, you either adopt common law as your state legal system, right? Or we're going to have to, as the other states of America, impose it upon you, because the New World Order is administrative law. The United Nations is administrative law, Napoleonic law, Sharia law, Jewish law, whatever legal system you think of, it is not Christian, it is not common law. The common law is God's law, and God's law is the common law. That's what I've been trying to tell you. But these people can't see that, right? But no one stood up in front of a judge yet. And we don't know if them judges are Fabians, who are in effect either atheist or Jewish, right? And many of them now are Islamic. That should never have been allowed to happen in our country, which is England, right? We are a Christian nation, and we will stay a Christian nation. All fed by the Jesuits. And I'm not suggesting all Jews are bad. That's never. I'm not even going to say that again, right? But let me tell you something. There's some bad people out there. They are dark personality, and you need to understand who these people are. They want complete control of you. We can take our country back. We can stop ourselves being debt-ridden. And the closest group of people that think the way we think, believe it or not, in terms of debt enslavement, is Islam. Who created the Wahhabism? Who created jihadists in the way and function you see them now? The British and Mossad and the CIA. It's not a game. So again, I just want to make sure everyone gets this. We are, and by the way, I am the petitioner. And in effect, that means, so because this is a civil case, I am the petitioner, or I am the plaintiff, right? But it's particularly a petition trial, right? And we need as many people as possible to go to organise. I'm telling you now, it's on the 3rd of November, 4th of November, 5th of November. Why is the 5th of November so important? Because King Billy landed in Brixham in Devon on the 5th of November, all right? He read out the Declaration of Reasons. He travelled to London. He did not invade us. He was invited. You are not being told the truth. And when he literally saved this country once. The reason them people have nutted off Charlie Kirk is because he was talking about the Protestant religion. He was talking about the English. He was talking about the Constitution. He was talking about where the Constitution came from, and it came from England, right? People need to understand what's going on. Let me go back. Any questions from anyone? And let me tell you something. So June Slater is out there, right, having a pop at me, right? I'm a normal get. Let me tell you something. The Royal Mail had one of the best solicitors out there. Everyone will tell you, right? He was under so much pressure in the High Court. He come out and dropped like a sack of shit, right, in front of our people, and our people were the people who give him assistance, right? We're not the bad guys. And then when he was asked, "You've got any heart problems? You've got this?" You're probably all jabbed up to the fucking whatever, right? What happened? He said it was the pressure, right? Bearing in mind, these 4 respondents have been literally conspiring with each other. They was told by the High Court not to piggyback on each other, right? And I was not allowed to say a word. I couldn't communicate with the inner circle, right, of the English Constitution Society, who give me great assistance, and with the English Constitution Party. That's how bad this is. It was legal. It is legal bullying. And again, a solicitor rang me today, won't say who the solicitor was, and said, "Well done. You have literally taken on the best of the best and won." She's and the person has said, right, that is a feat. That's not that what you should be so proud of yourself for doing that. And I said, "It's not me, it's a team." He's just useful idiot in more ways than one. Taffy Pat, no, she is. She tries to say how hard she worked. All she's done, right, is literally rode on the wave of inflation. Inflation is the theft of working class people's future generations, right? And she has taken that money. That's all she's done. You work if you're grafting only on that, right? Then Graham, didn't the judge say that the 4 respondents were not allowed to piggyback off each other? Archer, not, yeah, but that's what they've been doing. It has been highlighted to the judge, and also I want everyone to just make sure you understand this, right? It turns out from this, I'm not going to say too much about it again, from that letter, right, from a whistleblower in the Royal Mail, 2 people have been suspended. They found the leaflets hidden in a distribution office, right? The fact that they didn't deliver them is a criminal offence, right? The fact that they then covered it up and didn't tell a court is perverting the course of justice, which carries a life sentence. The cover-up is always worse than the offence itself. Just remember that, right? So all we're doing, and again, I have no doubt that I'm going to be under an immense amount of stress, pressure, and different bits and pieces. They've also, I think I've got a court case on the 19th. I can't remember what day it is, where they're arguing about costs, right? And in some way, I've got to then present to the court, listen, I'm not interested in that. So there's still other bits and pieces I've got to do to say that this is in the public interest. And therefore, everyone is responsible for their own costs. Again, I don't want to be... Their objective is to make me bankrupt. If I bankrupt myself... By the way, the High Court knows this, right? One of their weapons is bankrupt the petitioner, and no one else will bring a petition. It's not a good idea for the petition court. I'm getting very close to wanting to go. Scotty, let's have a look. Right. So anyway, I am going over to LSB Studios on YouTube to do a live with them at 9 o'clock. Right. So if you want to follow up on there, go and have a look, and I'll be on there. But all I'm saying to you, everyone, is we've now been given the date of the trial. We all grafted for that, not just me, right? There's no I in team. I don't just say that, people, either, right? I have got the utmost respect. There is a couple of people that have thrown many wobblers in the background, and I've said, listen, behave yourselves, right? We've never fell out. We've had a massive win. Don't fall out now. Just keep pushing forward as a group of Christians, and that's exactly what we're doing. to make it clear, anyone that goes to the Tommy Robinson event tomorrow, take your English flags, right? English means St. George, the flag of St. George, right? If he starts talking about Israel, you better start booing, right? Because this is about England being destroyed, and Israel has never stood up for England, right? It has an objective to destroy England, because unless it destroys England, it itself is at risk. So imagine what it's doing to Palestine, right? That's what it wants civilly with England. Because if England don't exist anymore, right, and everything is just absorbed into the European Union, which is what they're intending, right? England don't exist anymore. Therefore, Israel is a country. You are no longer a country. That's exactly what they're doing. Except from the legal strategy and again, self education, I understand exactly what they're doing. I can see what they've done in America. I can see what they're doing here. Trump is a proper geezer, right? He understands exactly what they're doing. And they are destroying and shooting people that understand what they've done, understand the strategy of what they're doing legally under international law of what they're trying to do. I want to make sure everyone understands this, right? Keep massively. I'm going to go over now to the LSB studios. Let me just check my messages before I go anywhere else. Hopefully I'm getting a new table in tomorrow and I'll be able to try and set up my studio a bit better. Let me have a look. I won't say what the message was. I'll just come in, but we just want to make sure everyone is switched on and get it right. Anyone going to the Tommy Robinson event tomorrow, be very careful, be very vigilant. It ain't a game, people. You've just seen what happened to the other fella, but we need to stand up and protect the kids and pass the eternal flame of freedom on to our next generations. I'm looking through some of the messages to see if I've got anything coming through. That's it. So I'm just going to say, be lucky. I am getting ready to go over to the other side. Let me just go and see if there's any messages coming through. Any messages? Anyone want to ask me a question? See you on YouTube. Forgive me for the sins. Laugh out loud. What sins are they? Cockney, WHU, West Ham United. Oh, you go big militia. Graham, LSB Productions, YouTube. Well done, Tracy, for putting the link in there. Go and find that one, and I'll go across to him in a minute. I think it's going out at 9 o'clock live. But it is really important information. I've just sent some information over to a few other people as well, but we need to keep going on that. Juicy and Lucy, Graham, Danny Dragon, question, Templar, let me have a look. Thank you, DD. Night, God bless. I've got to somehow work out, I don't know what's going on with this, Gav, but we'll get there in the end. That's it. Good night, God bless. Love you all. I'm not just saying this, I couldn't do this without you, right? When I say I love you all, as patriots, as English, Welsh, Scottish and Irish patriots, right? Forget the unitary state. That's what seeks to destroy you. It needs to consume you to then be absorbed into the European Union. They've already succeeded with Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales. They now seek to destroy England, and it's going to be Cornwall as well, right, as regions, and then suck you into the European Union, and they call Europe a country. That's what they intend to do, right? And it will be, it's us that's got to stand up and say we aren't having it. Does everyone understand what I just said? Well done. I've got a few minutes left. I might even nip in a pub and see if I'll get a pint of Guinness. What do you reckon? Good night, God bless, and I will see you. Don't forget, LSB Studios, 9 o'clock live, and we're going to go out and I'm going to have a proper chat to my friend, Chris. And I'm sure that Amy won't be watching, but if she is, hello, darling. How are you? That's it. Bye. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution.